Do you think the drop that we saw yesterday and really being extended now this morning in Europe, was that a blip or is it a sign of more to come?
Well, hi, good morning. So we think that, markets have rallied quite significantly since the trough on March 23rd. So the S&P has rallied over 40%. So I think investors have baked in a lot of optimism on the reopening of the economy and also the various stimulus that the central banks and governments have put in place. So, there are always concern about the potential for a second wave or whether the recovery of the economy is going to be persistent. So I think because of the news coming out that some U.S. states are having some spikes in cases, I think it is not a surprise that markets are having some correction because of the massive rally that we've seen. So what we are confident is that we are probably not going to test the lows that we've seen back then in March because, we're having the reopening of the economy, we've got support, stimulus, and what we think is that even though we may see second wave of infection, it will probably be better managed than before. And we think that as the U.S. Student Mnuchin has said, they probably will not stop the economy from running in. So what we think is that there may well be some small correction going forward, just because so much optimism is baked in. But we think that ultimately we don't envision another correction like we have seen before.
You say that maybe the worst is over. Is it difficult to be overweight equities, or is it easy to be overweight equities then, if that's the case, given the heavy selling we saw yesterday?
Yes. So I think the risk to the outlook now is roughly balanced at the moment. Like, we see some positive points. For example, the worst is over. The economy is gradually reopening. We saw from some high-frequency data that the data is picking up and stimulus in place, but we also see downside risks, like we have mentioned before. So we think the risks on balance are quite neutral. But overall, we are adding a bit of equities now, primarily to the U.S. and emerging market ex-Asia.